Good morning from Seattle. Good afternoon to the rest of the country. We are now on Chapter 9 of Legal Blogging, 45 chapters long, that we're doing as part of the Blog for Good campaign, where lawyers are beginning to blog, or they already are blogging on COVID-related issues, virus-related issues, to help people across the country, whether corporations, consumers, government agencies, you name it. I'm wearing the Yankees hat for a couple reasons. One, to honor the city of New York City for what they have been through and continue to go through as a result of the pandemic. It is pretty tough what went through when you have the most international airports in the country in JFK and Newark, and unbeknownst to folks, rather than the virus coming from China, it made its way to Europe, and now 2 million people flew in through those airports, many with the virus, and landed in New York, spread out to Chicago, Atlanta, other cities around the country. But they've been through a tough time and will continue to be through a tough time. Plus, I'm a native of New York, not on the Yankee side, though, down over in Queens. And I guess to a few other bloggers as well that I know are rabid Yankee fans. That's Danny Schwartz, that publishes the Connecticut Law Blog, and Dennis Garcia, that Microsoft Assistant General Counsel, that I saw just this morning on Facebook, moved from the city of Chicago out to the suburbs. So congrats for him. The title for today is ironically titling your blog, title of the chapter. And lawyers spend a lot of time figuring out the titles to their blog, coming up with the perfect one. In fact, I would say that the title for the blog probably slows down lawyers as much as anything in getting their blog live. And it really should not. When you think of relative importance, when I'm on a conference call with a group of lawyers, and all of a sudden the subject of the blog or the title of the blog comes up, I'm telling them, hey, there's probably 9 or 10 things that are important for this blog, and the title is about number 23. It is just so far behind the other things. It's just not as important as lawyers think it is. The other thing is that nobody remembers the title of your blog. I don't care what, maybe in certain cases they do, but most people are going to remember it's you. What did you say? If you go to an event and you drove a car there, they're going to remember what you said at the event. They're not going to remember what kind of car you came in. It's who you are. It's not this suit of clothes that you were wearing at the event. It's not the name of the law firm that you're from. It's who you are and what you said, and that's how you're going to get cited. I've been blogging since 2003, and if I asked people what the name of my blog was, I think the vast majority of those that read it would say they have no idea. They have no idea. Well, Kevin, it's your blog. That's right, it's my blog. It's where I provide insight, commentary. Occasionally, I express opinions on things, but it's my blog. It is what it is. Now, having said that, there is some important reasons to have a good title for a blog. You do tend to want to have it be about what you're writing about. And for lawyers that haven't blogged before, they're going to want to focus in on a niche. And the niche is going to have to describe what they're doing. Is it Florida probate litigation blog? That's a good title because it's pretty self-explanatory about what you're covering. Is it some other name? California defamation law, cannabis law blog, Connecticut employment law blog, IP litigation of the Northern District of Illinois. People start to understand, well, that's probably for the district and circuit courts, that are there. District and circuit court that's there. So you're explaining what it is about is very, very clear. Lawyers don't also understand how their blog lives some other place. They tend to look at it on the desktop. There it is. There's what it reads. There's the title. There's the tagline. It's this piece of art that they've come up with over, practice groups do the same thing. What does it look like when it's syndicated? Your blog is sending out a radio signal all of the time. Whether you own a radio to hear it is irrelevant. Other people do. What are those radios? Well, it's a news aggregator. A lot of people use a news aggregator like Feedly. It brings the information to them in one place like a funnel. they're not going to click around to your blog and look for things. They aren't even going to go through emails and get updates of your blog through their emails. That is very, very slow way of consuming news and information. And in most cases, you're just not that important that you have to have a special place where they remember to go back to or check their email for your updates all the time. It's being syndicated. It's going out to other places. And in a news aggregator, somebody can receive, whether monitoring things by subject or by sources. Your blog is a source. Subjects might be, legal tech, IP or something. And you'd see anybody that wrote about those terms. So when it's in Feedly, you got to have a title that explains what it is. You don't want to have a title that is 18 words long or even 8 words long, because it won't fit. You won't get to see it. It's the same thing with the titles to your posts. It's not going to fit. If it gets too catchy, nobody's going to know what it is. They don't know what it is out here. You also want to think, how does it look when it displays in Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter? How does the title appear? As you title your blog, look at other places. Don't always look at law blogs. Take a look at major publications that have spent a lot of time figuring this out as to what they do. How do their titles look in these places where it's syndicated to? When it comes through Lexblog, which is the blog community of record for all legal blogs, it's coming in and it's automatically creating a title of your blog there. It's syndicated, it's coming in via RSS into our place. So it's got to appear good over there so people know what it is and it's pretty clear. So you got to be thinking of that syndication. Clear, shorter things when you're thinking about that. Another thing that people think about is taglines. So they go, well, my title's not exactly perfect, I'm not sure, so I better write a sentence to explain what this is about. I mean, that is really not a great idea, unless you just had to have some off-the-wall title. Because people pay no attention to taglines. I mean, you really think people are going to look at your blog for the first time after it got shared by some other place, via Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, you name it, and go, oh, that's right, I'm glad that they provided that tagline to explain what they were writing about. Worse yet, lawyers will use taglines that mean nothing. I mean, you could have a blog called, Connecticut, or, Kentucky real estate law. And then below it in a tagline, it will be legal information on Kentucky real estate. Why? Other than you look stupid. You feel some compelled reason to use a tagline. Lexblog's got to get better at telling people not to be lame. We might do these things because people want them, just to get them moving along. But at some point in time, we have to say, hey, that you can't do that. Why? Because it's lame. And I've had good lawyers and leading partners in practice groups say, well, we don't want to be lame. And I said, that's right. That's why we're here for you, to protect you from that. So don't think about that. Search, as far as Google search, you do want to have a title that is somewhat self-explanatory about what you're writing about. Because if it's on a niche subject, it's going to come up. Just like like a book. If I'm searching for a book title, I'm searching for what is it about, and things are going to come up. So you want to make things pretty self-explanatory. In addition to that, when people list your blog at other places, you're going to pick up links coming back to your site. Google's going to know what you have by virtue of how other people describe it. So other people describe it might be more important than how you describe it, because that's more credible. Well, they're going to describe it by the title of your blog. So you would like to have people out there saying that this is a periodical, this is a blog, this is a publication, this is an authoritative source on this. Because they're not going to say all of that, they're just going to use the title. If you don't have a clear title describing what it is, and people are creating links all over the place to something that is not entirely clear, you're losing the advantage, of search. I might talk about URLs tomorrow, but URL consistency, I think, is important. Because if I'm going to have the Washington water law blog, then I would think, that's the title, that the URL wants to be Washington water law blog. If you can't find the perfect URL, that's okay. But get something that's close. It might be WA. And the reason is it looks good and it looks professional. you can look really stupid with a different URL up here that doesn't match up with the title here, and vice versa. It just looks stupid because other larger publications wouldn't do that. It makes you less professional. And your goal is not necessarily traffic. Your goal is authority, influence. You're a capable lawyer. You do things in a professional way. You don't want to shorten yourself up by doing things in a way that doesn't make you look professional. You want those things to be consistent. Whether Google still penalizes you for those type of things so it looks like you're gaming or not, Google, people used to talk a lot more about different things with Google than they probably do today as Google gets smarter and smarter at the people always trying to get a step ahead of them. I don't know, but I do think you want to have those things be very, very consistent. And don't go out and say, I've got the perfect domain. I went and bought it. I went and bought it 4 months ago, and now I'm ready to go. That's not the way you start these things. The domain is not going to be important. The days when somebody keyed in something, the URL, to see what was there are over. That stopped 2 decades ago. Don't worry about having the perfect domain first. Title of the blog, you'll be able to come up with a domain. We've been doing blogs now for 16 years. There's never been a time where you say, oh my God, we're going to do a blog on this subject, but we can't find it. We can't find a domain. You will find the domain, and they will be running on .com, not .net, .info. That's pretty much what I have, on titles. What I want you to be thinking about is clear title. Don't use a tagline because nobody's going to read it. Keep the title short as far as going out in an RSS feed. How does my title look in an RSS feed? How does my title look in social media? Is my title consistent between the URL and the title? And don't lose a lot of sleep over your title. When you think of things that are important in a blog, I've got to learn how to listen. I've got to learn how to engage. I've got to learn how to build influence. I've got to get out and network via the internet, with my blog being just one part of it. Those are the things you want to be thinking about, not the title of your blog. As far as Blog for Good, it's just another reminder. You're going to see the hashtag around the net, Blog for Good. We're contacting bar associations this week. We've already built, before they're even sold or delivered, about, I think, 11 or 13 new what we call portal sites, which aggregate and curate legal blog content from an entire state into one publication so that you can see the publications, you can see the people that are writing, you've got profiles of both of them, you see the firms, and then you see the content coming through every day. And right now, it's regarding the pandemic. It's dominating. There's very little other content. And then we're going state by state with these portals already done, and the states will have an opportunity to participate, and we're not going to let price stand in between. If they want to own certain things, they'll pay something more. If they don't want to own it and even have us run the darn thing, they won't have to pay us anything. But what we want to do is to give the bar associations the opportunity to empower lawyers in their state to care and to help for people and to shine a light on those lawyers for the good work that are being done. With, at the end of the day, the bar associations and the lawyers have worked together so as to help people that are suffering from all types of issues we never could have imagined as a result of the pandemic. Thanks much and have a good day.